Like we knew anything about what might have made Mean Cat feel awfully jittery recently. Remember our first book?
It was the book where I heroically got rid of Mean Cat.
Where we heroically got rid of Mean Cat.
Skipper, we haven't got time to argue over this. Some pigeons are listening to this book during their lunch break, and it's almost time for pudding.
As I was saying, you might remember our first book. If you haven't listened to it because you are the sort of pigeon who likes to listen to the second book first,
spoiler alert,
we did manage to get rid of Mean Cat.
After she destroyed my wing.
But we had to bring her back.
Because we were attacked by a gang of 1,000 ninja fire-breathing eagles.
It was more like 100 very annoying birds from the local neighbourhood, Dave. Bringing back Mean Cat got rid of the irritating birds, and life went back to normal. I do remember writing a chapter about how Mean Cat returned, but somehow those last pages disappeared.
Skipper, I had to get rid of those pages. My grandma bought that book. I couldn't have her knowing we needed help from a cat.
I'm going to take her away to relax a bit, the human lady continued. The way she's been jumping around, you'd think she'd been shot out of a cannon or something. We gave the human lady our best, we have no idea about no cannon eyes. She bent down to rub the top of my head and mentioned something about a few days away as she squished the feathers over my ears. What did she say? I asked Dave as the human lady swung the shed door shut behind her.
She's going on holiday. Whatever that is.
Not that bit, I said. It was something about being away.
Weren't you listening?
She was stroking me. It's hard to hear anything when your ear holes are blocked by human hands. Dave shook his head.
Well, I wasn't listening. It was your turn to listen.
I stopped pecking at the stale crumbs and looked at Dave. In the space of about 30 seconds, he'd eaten almost half the bread the human lady had given us. Dave was now relaxed, slouched back on his bottom, letting the tiny crumbs trapped on his chest feathers tumble down his wing into a bready heap. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. My insides felt like blancmange, and my legs wouldn't stop trembling.
Aren't you hungry?
Dave asked. No.
Lunch will be out soon,
Dave said, curling up for a nap.
I'm sure it'll be croissants today.
His eyelids began to droop, and his coos slurred to snores.
Wake me when the food arrives,
he mumbled. I jumped up to the window ledge and looked out across the garden. Coming towards the shed was a flying ball of yellow and gold feathers. Tinkles. I looked for somewhere to hide, but him next door's nosy pet canary had spotted me. Yoo-hoo! She whistled. Tinkles landed on the ledge and waited for me to join her outside the shed. Her pink beak had just had its weekly shine at the vet's, and her talons had a fresh coat of sparkly nail varnish. I still hadn't forgiven her for being part of the gang who tried to steal our biscuits, but Dave was asleep, and there wasn't much else to do until lunch. Hello, Tinkles, I said, squeezing out under the window. I just came over to say goodbye to you boys, she chirped. Are you leaving forever? I asked hopefully. No, she said, shaking her head. I thought you'd be off, now the human lady has left. What are you tweeting on about? Tinkles laughed, her voice like 1,000 high-pitched bells. I saw the human lady pack her bags and leave with her cat this morning. She wouldn't leave us, I said. Tinkles peered through the shed window. Dave was dozing against the half-eaten loaf of bread. Looks like that's the last of your food supplies, she smirked. I best be off. My human has just bought me a personalised bird bath to sit in. It makes its own bubbles. She took off from the shed. I could hear her chirping all the way across the fence back to him next door. Tinkles couldn't have been right about the human lady, could she? Surely our human lady wouldn't leave us. The house seemed very quiet. Something was wrong. I paced the length of the ledge. Then, when I was sure Mean Cat wasn't in the garden, I kicked off from the shed window and flew down to the human lady's house. I looked through the windows. The human lady wasn't there. I listened for the familiar purrs and scratching of Mean Cat. Nothing. The windows were shut tight, and the back door was locked. I landed by the cat flap. I pushed hard and fell back on my bottom. I pushed again.